Come on in, welcome to my home. Today is not the video that I had planned on making, but it's going to go along with a series about staying at home that is coming up in the future. And one of the things that I really know a lot about is enjoying staying at home, because if you know me, I like staying at home. I enjoy my time at home, and I've found from asking a lot of people, many of them do not like to stay at home. And so I asked, well, why? And a few people couldn't put their finger on it, and a lot of people gave the normal, there's nothing to do, it's boring, that sort of thing, and that we're going to cover. But the other part about this is because a lot of people don't feel comfortable in their own home. And I'm like, that's horrible. How can you not feel comfortable in your own home? What is going on with that? Have you ever thought about your own home and your comfort level in it? In my house, I feel very comfortable in my home. I feel comfortable enough that when we had a power outage in the middle of winter at night and I'm walking around here in complete and total darkness, I felt fine. A lot of people get creeped out by that because not knowing is very creepy. I mean, there are so many different factors in this which make a lot of sense about why you might not feel comfortable in your home, and that's something to think about. What I thought was one of the coolest things was, I thought, well, why don't I go to the experts at making people not feel comfortable? So I looked up a whole lot of haunted houses. There are people who make their living on designing haunted houses so that you get that creepy feeling in a haunted house. And though your house might not be haunted, it might. There's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot to be said for why we feel uncomfortable in these houses and why your home might be making you feel uncomfortable. And one of the coolest ones that I've found, which I don't think you're going to be suffering from, but it's something to think about if you're thinking about getting a new house, is if you have a house that is designed in such a way that there are lots of different hallways that branch and twist and turn, and then you find it's easy to get confused in, or you have to go through room to room to get to another room. They find that those houses make people feel uncomfortable. And the part of that reason is the fact that you are afraid of the unknown. You're afraid of getting lost, afraid of not knowing where you are. It's the unknown, and that's one of the things that makes lots of people uncomfortable. Take like this room, for example. I can sit here with no problems because what you might hear, you don't know what that is. And that might make you uncomfortable. However, I know what that is. That's my mom's water heater, which is way too close to my house, and I can hear it as it's heating up. So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me even think twice about it. But different sounds will affect people differently. Right now I can hear the refrigerator going. I know that there's construction outside. Those things, I know what they are. But when you get into sounds that you don't know, your brain is saying, be on alert. And if you're on alert, you're not feeling comfortable. And that's something that you have to think about. Make sure that your house doesn't make you feel like you should be on alert. And part of this can also go with the whole, why should you clean up your house? Well, there's a reason. Let's say that you're one of these people who likes to only clean the part of your house that you actually work in, or I don't know, live in, whatever. And so you have a room that has like one section which is really nice and clean and the other section is not. That can feel creepy. If you're sitting there and you're in this area which is nice and clean and the rest of it is like messy, that can sort of say, hey, something's wrong here. Why didn't somebody clean up this entire thing? I used to sell real estate and I can still remember this house. The house was set up in such a way that when the people moved, they wanted to make the house look like it still lived, that was still had furniture, so that way you could envision how your furniture would be there. But what they did was they took some pictures off the wall, they took some pieces of furniture and didn't replace it. So instead of it looking like, you know, this is how you could arrange your furniture, it looked like somebody in the middle of the night grabbed a few things that they could and ran out. the house was very uncomfortable. Like, very uncomfortable. Another house that I went through, which I really wish I'd gotten a picture of, was this house that had a really, really long hallway. Really long hallway. It was one of those hallways that as you it was like The Shining, where you come up and as you're going up the stairs, more of the hallway reveals itself to you, and so you can't see what is at the end of the hallway, so you're almost totally up into the hallway. Once again, it's the unknown. It's the dark corners that you have in your house, and those are easy to take care of. I mean, I have dark corners in my kitchen, and then with just a few lights, ta-da! No more dark corners. One of the things which haunted houses like to do are flashing lights. Flashing lights have a tendency to give us that disoriented feeling, and also it gives you a chance for there to be darkness. Darkness, once again, the unknown. So if you know what's in your house, you understand your house, you understand the things which are going on, that's really good. Because we've all heard those sounds that were like at first, what is that? And then you figure out what it is and you're like, oh, that was silly. Why did I even think twice about that? So look around your house and say to yourself, well, is there something that would make me, as I'm trying to enjoy myself, feel uncomfortable? One of the things I have found here, and this is quite common, and a lot of people don't think about open spaces. This is not an uncommon situation where you have a chair facing into the room and you have this open space behind you, and many, many people feel uncomfortable sitting with a door behind them. That's quite common. That's why, you know the saying, I've got your back? There's a reason for it. You're going to feel safer with knowing that there is something behind you, somebody who's looking out behind you, who's taking care of the part you can't see. So a lot of people most of the time like to sit with their back against the wall, or at least so there's nothing behind them. Understandable. And it's even worse if like the room opens up so that the door would open up to your back. That can be creepy. That can be very, very creepy. And we also have to talk about smells. Your house can make you uncomfortable because it smells bad. If it smells bad, figure out why it smells bad. It could be something as easy as take out the trash, or you might have to call a plumber and figure out what's going on with your pipes or something. That could be something. It could be something even stranger. Maybe you're getting smells from the apartment next to you or the house next to you. If so, see if you can combat that. But also in that is if you're going to add in extra smells or, some sort of deodorizer, that sort of thing, put it in a spot where people are going to see it versus just having this strange, even though it's nice. One of the weirdest ones is always lavender. Lavender or roses, because it smells like perfume. And if you have no explanation as to why you are suddenly smelling perfume, your brain says, something's wrong here, I need to figure out what it is, and if you can't figure out what it is, you're uncomfortable. Shadows are another one. If you have a room that you can, let's say you have a hallway, there's lots of open doors and that sort of thing, but there are shadows in the room. They can be something simple. Just the simple, curtains blowing in the wind, but they're causing shadows that you can then see. Yeah, that is something. If you can put a light in that room or into the distance so that you can actually combat that will make you feel better. Or once you figure out what it is, you're like, oh, it doesn't even bother me. But then again, it can also distract you because out of the corner of your eye, you can see that movement. Uncomfortable. Sound is a big thing because, like I said, the sound here, refrigerator running, sometimes the lawnmowers are going, but you can also have things where you can hear people talking. Have you ever had the infamous thing where you had your phone and you didn't realize that there was a video playing and you can hear sounds but you can't figure out where it's coming from? Yeah, that can be creepy. So be able to identify where the sound's coming from, be able to understand your house, what's going on, why is it popping, creaking, that sort of thing. It will make you feel so much more comfortable. And it'll also be able to so that you can fix it. If you know that there are sounds that you can't get rid of, say like your neighbors or construction or that sort of thing, you can combat that with other sounds. White noise, like a fan. For some reason, some people find static on a TV comforting. I do not. I've seen Poltergeist one too many times. Don't find that comforting at all, but music is a great way to combat sound. Essential oils, a lot of people love the smell of essential oils. You might not. As you know, I love plants in my house. So I have some plants that have various smells to them. For some they're very off-putting, for other people they find it very calming. One thing which is interesting is I do have a fertilizer that I occasionally use. It is what's the word? How would I put this? It's the smell of healthy plants. You know that your plants are going to be doing well. However, it can smell really bad, and so I only do that in the summertime when I can leave the windows open. But yeah, I want to have my house so that when like I touch things now. My couch, the cover on it is very soft. It's very nice. The cushions are covered with what realistically they're pillowcases, and then I also have a blanket that I can then put over it, so that everything is soft and wonderful. And a lot of people love the different feels of silk, satin, cotton. I personally do not like the feel of silk or satin. I don't like that coldness. So give me jersey, give me cotton. Some people love the feel of wool. I'm allergic to wool, so no, wool's not going to work for me. But you have to make sure that you feel good. And the other thing that you can also do if you're thinking about staying at home and making yourself comfortable, there's a difference between I'm going to be a slug for the day and I'm going to do something fun for the day. The clothes that you are going to wear are going to be really different. And part of that can also go with smells, because if you're going to do something fun at home, take a shower, clean yourself up, make yourself feel really nice and fresh and everything, versus I'm going to be a slug. Yeah. You will feel better doing stuff at home if you are nice and clean and your environment is nice and clean. It sounds good, it smells good, and that's what I worked on. That's what I've worked on to make this place work. I get a lot of light in here, like a lot of light, but this is not normal. Let's see if I can do this real quick. If I were to go to just normal light, it doesn't look like a lot, but it is. Not having those extra lights on changes the look and feel of this house completely. So having the extra accent lights so I can blow out those dark corners makes it really good. However, if it is too bright, once again, it will make you feel uncomfortable. What makes you feel comfortable in your house and what doesn't make you feel comfortable in your house? You notice I didn't get into furniture because, yes, you need a comfortable sofa or couch or chair or bed or whatever it is that you're going to be sitting, working at, that sort of thing. That's a whole nother video. Instead, what we want to do is we want to do your environment, the bigger things, the sounds. Dripping faucets are a big one. Dripping faucets can make you feel super uncomfortable. Super uncomfortable. Something that's loose, blowing in the wind. Yeah, that can be really weird. Ticking clocks, was one of the things which surprised me. People do not like the sound of a ticking clock. So that is really something to think about, as you just want to sit there in your house and identify everything which could possibly make you feel uncomfortable, and then work on some way to combat that. You might not be able to get rid of it completely. Your neighbors, being able to hear your neighbors through your walls might always happen. But then you know that, hey, if I can hear the neighbors through my walls, I can either put on music or I can put on an ambient sound. and I can combat that uncomfortable feeling that I have just sitting around. And once you combat that, then we can go to the next step, which is doing fun things at your home so that you can enjoy being at home. Well, let me know about your house. Is there anything that in your house that makes you feel uncomfortable, or anything in your house that makes you feel more comfortable that I didn't even touch on? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to take this time to thank these wonderful people who encourage me to study what makes people feel comfortable and uncomfortable in their homes and how haunted houses actually work. If you want to become part of the Patreon family or become one of the channel members, click the link, check that out. If you are, you get a weekly behind the scenes video, and you also get access to these videos early. And as I come up with new ideas, I run them by my Patreon and my channel members first, and they help me work on new ideas and ideas coming up with new videos. I hope you enjoyed this, and hope I get to see you again the next time you stop by.